What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm gonna try to make this video kind of short. New baby at home. I'm just starting back work. Damn it, come on, there we go. Just starting back work after about a week, almost a week and a half of being off. And man, I'm stressed to the hilt, man. I'm not gonna lie. So this video may come off as a little harsh. Had another one of those know-it-alls to jump in my comments, and I don't know, man, it's just fun. I'm feeling kind of, naughty and frisky anyway, so I kind of want to put this guy in his place. So I actually printed out, I went online and printed out exactly what this guy said verbatim, so that I can read it out to you guys, and I'm gonna kind of respond to it, and then I'm just gonna talk a little bit about where I'm at, and then we'll go from there. So he was commenting, on my videos. I talk about kratom extracts, withdrawals, physical withdrawals like anhedonia, having trouble finding pleasure in things, all of that, which pretty much anybody who has any sort of extensive experience with kratom, or any other sort of opiate or narcotic like substance, will agree that this is real. Withdrawals is some real shit, man. It's not all in your mind. It's not all mental hocus pocus. There is a real manifestation, an actual real physical manifestation of withdrawals that you will experience if you take something like kratom, or listen, kratom is natural. I get that. You know what? Let me read. Okay. First off, just let me read his comment, and then I'm going to respond to it, and I'm sure the rest will just flow from there. So here's his comment, and I quote, "This is hilarious to me because I was just drinking kratom 3 times a day and popping extracts, and I haven't touched it at all since April. Sidebar, it's only May now." He said it, I haven't touched it since April, like that's just been forever ago. Like, dude, it's only May. So it's been less than a month, obviously, since you touched it. Anyway, haven't touched it since April. I haven't had any withdrawals at all, and I went cold turkey. No symptoms. So you were able to go to work, drive somewhere by yourself and back. I don't know what he meant by that. I literally have no idea what he meant by that. It seemed like he was talking about me, but I don't know what he meant by that. And then he says, "Nah, kratom is botanical, man, not a narcotic. Get it right. Kava isn't a narcotic." All right, so let me just take this a little bit at a time. So this guy says that he's drinking kratom 3 times a day and popping extracts, and he hasn't touched it since April. He hasn't had any withdrawals whatsoever, and he went cold turkey. Oh, man. Again, we have somebody who is idiotic enough to, for one, think that the same mold fits everyone. The same shoe fits everybody. That guy wears the same exact size shoe that I do. That girl, her shoes are exactly the same size as mine. If she steps in my shoe, those shoes are going to fit her just as well as her shoes fit her. The same mold, the same shoe for everyone. We all know that is not true. We all know that is not the case. And because everyone's different. It depends on your age, your activity level, your rate of metabolism, all of these things, what kind of food you eat, what your diet is like, whether you lead a sedentary lifestyle or an active lifestyle, all of these things are going to play in what kind of withdrawals you may experience when coming off of something like kratom. If you're not taking that much kratom, and again, I have alluded to this one person in my life continuously because she is a perfect example of this. My wife will take kratom. She takes kratom with me sometimes. My wife has never experienced any ill effects, aka withdrawals, from not taking kratom one day. Well, why is that? I can tell you why. Because she doesn't take an ungodly amount of Kratom and as often as I take the Kratom. She might take 1 capsule per day. Literally, 1 capsule per day. That is not enough to affect your system in a way to where it's actually going to give you some sort of mental or physical withdrawals when you go to come off of it. It's just not. So it all depends on what your habits are, how much you're taking. And this guy says, we're drinking Kratom 3 times a day and popping extracts, and I haven't touched since April. Well, you notice he didn't mention how much he was actually taking per day, for one, and how long he had been doing it. So we don't know that. We're missing that information. So, you know, did you do this for 2 weeks? Did you do this for 3 weeks? You know, you went on a little bender where you decided, oh, Kratom, I'll try some of this. And then you did it for a couple of weeks and then you stopped. And, you know, yeah, chances are you probably aren't going to have, you know, much in terms of withdrawals if that's you. But if you're telling me that you drank Kratom 3 times per day, including extracts, and you did this for even a month at a time, or 2 months, or 3 months, heaven forbid, 6 months, 1,000,000% fact you had some sort of negative consequence with not taking that Kratom anymore. If you just abruptly quit and went cold turkey, you 1,000,000% had some sort of withdrawals. Now, you may be an inexperienced bastard when it comes to narcotic or opiate-like substances. That may be true. I am not. You know, I'm 47, and I've been messing around with these things ever since I was in my mid-20s. So I got, you know, and I'm not bragging because I wish I didn't have this sort of experience with narcotics. I'm telling you, on days like today where I've been kind of having a rough day, I really, really wish that I didn't have to depend on this shit to kind of get me through, man. I really do. So I'm not bragging about that, but I've got 25 years of experience with this, including Vicodins, Percocets. You know, I messed around with Oxycontins a little bit back in the day, and now for the past 3 or 4 years, Kratom. And I'm telling you, for any of you out there, and I'm not a person who is necessarily a naysayer of Kratom or an advocate. And if you've watched any of my videos, you know this. I'm kind of in the middle. I kind of land in the middle. I think if you're a person that can control it and be responsible with it, you know, it could be a good thing for you, and you can utilize its positive benefits, and hey, no problems. My wife is one of those people. She can take it or she can leave it. To her, it doesn't really matter. Me, I'm one of those people, at least when it comes to stuff like this. Now, something like alcohol, I can take it or leave it. You know, I can drink alcohol one night and then not have any desire to drink alcohol again for another 3 months. You know, that's just who I am. It's never affected me in that way. I've never been enough of a fan of the effects of alcohol to where it's something I just feel like I have to do it daily, multiple times a day. It's just not me. And my wife is set up that way, and regarding Kratom, there may be other people out there that are body chemistry is set up that same way, where it just doesn't quite hit them the same way, you know. And what I have to say to this guy is, you don't know what the hell you're talking about, dude. Because I guarantee you, there are millions of people across the country and across the world that have more experience with Kratom than what you do. I would be very interested to know what your full, complete spectrum of experience with Kratom is. Because based on this comment, it's obviously not very much. Because there are millions of people worldwide who would vehemently disagree with you right now that, bullshit, dude. If you get up to a certain amount and you're taking a certain amount of Kratom every day, you are absolutely going to have withdrawals if you go cold turkey from it. And that makes me want to address the next thing. He says here, nah, Kratom is a botanical, man, not a narcotic. For starters, I never said it was a narcotic. And it's funny because the particular video that he commented on, not one time in that whole video did I refer to Kratom as a narcotic. How do I know this? Because I went back and listened to it while I was doing some data entry at work today. I went back and listened to this particular video just to make sure that I was going to be able to make a corrected and informed response to this guy, and never said it was a narcotic. Now, I might have alluded to the fact that it is a narcotic-like substance or an opiate-like substance, because it is, meaning that it attaches itself and binds itself to the opiate receptors in your brain, which causes there to be more free serotonin and mood chemical floating around out in your brain. That's why people report having an elevated mood and euphoria when they take Kratom, because it is a partial antagonist. It's not a full antagonist like a Percocet or a Vicodin or something like that. So it's not going to get you as high, like as euphoric, because it only partially binds to those receptors. But it is a well-known scientific fact that it does in fact bind to those receptors. And anything like that binds to those opiate receptors in your brain, if taken on a regular, consistent basis for a certain period of time, you will have some withdrawals when you come off of it. Now listen, everyone's different, and everybody has that tipping point where if you're taking less than that tipping point, maybe you quit cold turkey and you don't have a problem. But then everyone has that tipping point to where if you go to quit, now all of a sudden you're not feeling that great when you quit, and your mood is down here, and you physically feel ill and stuff like that. Everyone has that tipping point. This guy may not have seen his tipping point yet, may not have reached his tipping point, but I say to you, my dude, I respect you, never met you, but you don't know what the hell you're talking about. And I can assure you 1,000%, and I started to say to him, give it a try, man. Give it a try. Go back, take it, do whatever you were doing with the Kratom extracts, Kratom pills, whatever. Take them every day, multiple times per day. Do it for about 4 months, 6 months straight. Then don't stop. And then all of a sudden, I want you to quit cold turkey. Go to bed on Sunday. You've been taking it for 6 months. Wake up on Monday morning. Don't take any more Kratom. Then come back and comment and let me know how you feel. Because I guarantee you, your comment and your story would be completely different. Now, I didn't tell him that because I don't want to encourage anybody to do that, because it fucking sucks. It sucks. I'm living proof of it. It sucks. And I wouldn't wish it on anyone. And if you have never gotten to that tipping point with Kratom or some other opiate-like or narcotic-like substance, then you may not have ever had that experience, and you may have never experienced any withdrawals. But I guarantee you the withdrawals are real, and there is a tipping point where you too, my dude, will experience those very uncomfortable withdrawals if you go a certain amount of time taking a certain amount every day. Now, there's people on there that'll say the tipping point is 20 grams, for at least 2 weeks. There's people on there that'll say you can take it for several months, 10 grams, and you can quit without much issue. There's people on there that say if you take it heavy for a week straight, you're going to have withdrawals. Everyone's tipping point, as I like to call it, is different. Everyone's is different based on a lot of different factors. Based on just physiology and biology alone, everyone's tipping point for experiencing those withdrawals is different. But I guarantee you they exist for everyone. Unless you are the only being on this earth that is non-human in origin and you don't have opiate receptors in your body, then it's gonna be the same for you eventually. You just may not have reached or hit that tipping point yet. But just want to put that out there. I'm about to cut this off. I know I've kind of been on a rant, but I just want to let people know, if you've not taken Kratom and you're thinking about taking Kratom, consider this before you get into it. Because once you get into it and you've been taking it for a given amount of time, depending on what that amount is, if you do reach that tipping point where your body has become dependent upon it and your tolerance has been raised significantly by virtue of taking too much of the Kratom too regularly, you will feel like shit when you stop taking it. And I can guarantee you that 100%. And before I get off here, I just want to say, the last week and a half, a lot of you know, I've been out. My wife and I had a baby. Yes, that's right. I have a brand new baby at the house at age 47. I was not expecting this. Obviously it's one of those things, you have an inherent love for your child. The moment they step, the moment they come into your world and they are officially part of this world, you will love them until the day you are taken off this earth and you shut your eyes. That is no different for me. But it's been stressful, and it is stressful. So I didn't continue my Kratom taper like I should have, so that's something I'm going to be doing now. I had a heart-to-heart with my wife this morning. My wife knows everything that I do. I never buy any Kratom product without her knowing. I'm completely honest with her about everything, but I haven't always been honest with her about, the dissension I have felt with my relationship with Kratom. In other words, for her, it's no big deal. She can take it or leave it. For me, I'm going to have to leave it, man. I'm just going to have to leave it. And I think I've come to understand that, especially within the last week or so. Granted, there's been a lot of extra stress on me due to, all of a sudden, and a lot of you know too how quick it was. We find out on Saturday, May 6th, we're having a baby, and 6 days later, on May the 12th, we actually give birth to the baby. So we had no time to prepare for it. When I come back to work, I've got just paper stacked up on my desk. It's taken me 2-3 days just to try to dig my way out of the hole that I've cut for myself by having to be out of work for over a week, because I have that type of job where if I'm out, nobody does that for me. It sits there until I return, and then I have to be the one to peel through it all and do it. And so that's been a stressful situation. I did not taper on my Kratom, or I did not continue the taper throughout the process of having my son. In fact, I wasn't working, so I kind of had an uptake in Kratom. And so now I'm back to like experiencing that kind of anhedonia, not feeling that great. This morning, I'm not gonna lie, man, I lied in bed knowing I had to go back to work and face all that mountain of work, and having a new baby at home, and I'm unsure about my job right now, what that's really what I want to be doing. The Kratom use has kind of gone south for me again. I've just had I laid there and I was just depressed, man. Just depressed. I didn't want to get out of bed and do anything, and it was one of those things where, but you can't. You have to. And especially somebody like me, I'm a father of 2, and I have a wife that depends on me, and I have responsibilities and a new baby, a new life depending on me at home. So one of those things where no matter how bad I wanted to just say, fuck you, I'm staying home and doing whatever I want, I couldn't do that. I can't do that. I had to man up. As bad as I did feel, I had to man up and get up and go do what I had to do. So, but I did have a heart-to-heart with my wife. I told her this morning, I said, look, I said, the Kratom has to stop for me. I said, no, there's a reality. If I'm at a point where if I just stop taking it cold turkey, it's going to suck, and she was with me when I quit taking MIT 45s after a pretty heavy addiction to it. And I've told this story on some of my previous videos, when I was between jobs and I was receiving severance pay from a company that I gotten laid off for. So I was still getting paid, but I wasn't working for about 2 months while I was looking for another job. And I took that time of my life to actually come off the MITs, and I did an MIT 45 cold turkey cut. And you're talking about some pretty serious heavy withdrawals, man. And when I tell you I did not sleep for 2 weeks, that is not an exaggeration. I literally did not sleep for 2 weeks. It was 2 weeks before I started to kind of doze off at night and my body kind of started to reset and everything got back to normal. And I know how to say. And anyway, I'm gonna go. My wife's trying to reach out to me. I need to get up with her. We have a lot of stuff to talk about. But I talked to my wife this morning and I said, listen, no more to Kratom bar. I'm doing capsules. I'm only doing capsules. And I'm doing that for the purpose of being able to taper down off of the Kratom. And I'm putting this out here online too, out in the you know, the ether, what do you call it? Ethernet? Not Ethernet. The ethosphere, I don't know. I'm putting it out there so that you guys can hear me say it and hold me accountable too, because you guys know I've been doing the 5 steps forward, 3 steps back thing. I've been doing a lot of that, and I haven't been committed to the cause. And I had a realization this morning. I'm gonna have to be, man. I'm gonna have to be, or at least more so than I have been. But I'm gonna stay just the capsule so that I can, you know, do a measured taper from here on out and come off of this shit, man. Because for me, it just ain't working. It just ain't working. So anyway, I appreciate you guys tuning back in. Thanks for the support. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content. You know, just a real guy sitting here with you, just shooting the shit, but being real with you about how difficult this is. And it's something a lot of people don't talk about. You know, there's a lot of people out there that are not good with their Kratom use, but they don't really have anywhere they can talk about it. You know, and it seems weak to talk about being a slave to something or a servant to something, or to admit that you don't have something fully in control. You know, especially as a man, it's hard to admit that, and I'm admitting it. And you know, if you're part of that community, join the club, man. I'm here for support, and you guys have been supporting me, and I'm just super appreciative. So subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time. All right, peace.